And so I'm like, great, I've signed this death sentence. Like, it's passion or nothing. It's purpose or nothing. It's mission or nothing. But most people, Carson, never discover that. They are living such an ordinary, mundane life, without even realizing, I think that they're becoming more nasty, more crotchety, more unhappy, because they're not growing. They're not challenged. They're not outside their comfort zone. And who wants to live a life like that?
So Kris, I was having this conversation with my dad, and he's really into motorcycles and cars, and we were talking about finding these old antique bikes, and and you find them and they're all rusted to pieces and it's like falling apart. And I'm like, so how do people have these old motorcycles that are in mint condition? And my dad said something that I'm wondering if you agree with on a broad spectrum. He said, you use it. If someone had this motorcycle and has been riding it for years and years and years, it lasts. Whereas if you put it on a shelf, it rusts, it rots, and falls apart. I was like, oh. So this idea of move it or lose it, if something's moving, it doesn't decay. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree. Like, I remember when I got to swim in the Dead Sea for the first time.
Ooh.
And I don't know why I just said it that way, because I've actually never swam in it a second time. But when I was in the Dead Sea,
The first and last time.
they said you have to wear glasses. And
how come?
It's like a 33% salt content. And so literally, if you get one drop in your eye, the salt will eat your eye, and you could lose vision.
It's like
permanently.
those salt baths.
Yeah. So it's very,
Gotcha.
it's kind of dangerous, right? So I put glasses in there, and I'm like, at that time, I was like fairly muscular, where I'm like, I usually sink, right? Like my wife loves joking about how well she can float. I'm like, well, honey, you got some flotation devices.
Oh gosh.
On your front and back side. I don't have those, but I'll literally just sink to the bottom of the pool.
Muscles heavy, right?
And so I'm wondering, am I going to sink? Am I going to splash? Am I going to get something in my eye and eat out my cornea alive by this? Right?
Yeah.
And I get in the water on my belly doing a full-on Superman, and I'm not even probably a quarter inch under the water. It was so insanely bizarre. I've never had such an easy time floating in my life. Well, it's dead, right? They call it the Dead Sea. Nothing is alive in it because you have a 33% salt content. And if there was living water, like a river running through it, it would be a totally different story. So when just like a pond, when it goes fully stagnant, when there's no movement, it basically becomes the most undesirable thing you would ever want to even touch, let alone swim in.
Okay, so let's go broad on this a little bit.
Okay.
This idea of you move something or you lose it, right? If water is moving, it doesn't become stagnant.
Dude, how is that not
apart.
different than humans? Let's just get technical about retirement. They've done studies. I've read the studies where people die within 5 years of retirement.
How come?
Part of it is I think that they eventually start slowing down. They become lethargic. They do less. And you're basically telling your body, shut down. We don't need energy for this. You don't need muscle for that. You start atrophying and then you die. And so, retirement, it's like, wow, is that like signing your death warrant? And retirement is a word I think that was invented for the most part for people that do things that they don't like.
Yeah.
Because what they dream and fantasize about is the day when they don't have to do it anymore. If you really love what you do, I mean, why is Warren freaking Buffett at his age still at it? Elon Musk will be at it till the day he dies. It's because you can't live without, once you've awakened that beast and you've found your path, you have to be on it, or else you're committing the ultimate personal sin. My wife and I on this weekend, literally in the hot tub, we were having this exact same conversation because I told her, I just finished, I'm 4 months into the year. And I told my wife last November, we started a 45-day conversation of, I want to go freaking unleash full beast mode for all of 2022. And I said, but are you really ready to support me at the level? And we talked about what does it look like for me to get what I need, for me to do what I do to balance my health, balance my family. I just did a competition 3 weeks ago, like a bodybuilding competition. I'm spending all this extra time with my family, and yet I'm acquiring businesses like crazy. And so I was sat in the hot tub with her and I said, honey, I feel like I just finished acquiring this last month, 25 new companies, and I am tired. I am overwhelmed. I am I just want to rest. I want to rejuvenate. And I asked her this question. I said, why am I doing this? This is not adding new money to our life that is meaningful. And she had an insight, and one of my business partners had an insight. She said, Kris, I don't know if I could be with a man that didn't honor his purpose in life. So you will always have my support because you won't respect yourself, and other people, myself included, may not respect you if you were to literally just walk from the path that you're supposed to walk. And my Sean Callaghy, an incredible man of the unblinded movement, a gifted lawyer. The man is blind, but he sees more than I think anyone else on this planet. Super gifted human. He said, Kris, if you were to walk, you would emasculate yourself. You would literally, you would lose part of what makes you you, part of what makes you, that masculine energy. That's part of what allows you to express who you are. And so I'm like, great, I've signed this death sentence. Like, it's passion or nothing. It's purpose or nothing. It's mission or nothing. But most people, Carson, never discover that. They are living such an ordinary, mundane life, without even realizing, I think that they're becoming more nasty, more crotchety, more unhappy, because they're not growing. They're not challenged. They're not outside their comfort zone. And who wants to live a life like that?
So my brother-in-law is a chiropractor. And when he went into the trade, he expected to be seeing a lot of people who do manual labor jobs. He's thinking people that lift heavy stuff are going to have back issues. He almost never sees a farmer, a concrete layer. Do you know who he sees?
I'm guessing white collar?
White collar people who sit at a desk all day.
Yeah.
They're the ones with all the spine trouble.
Because they're not using their bodies.
Because they don't use it. So let's do this litmus test with all three of the main areas. Health.
Yeah.
Kris, you just finished a bodybuilding competition.
Yes.
What would happen today if you just stopped hitting the gym?
Oh, first of all, I'd be depressed.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would be depressed. Once in a while, I miss a day at the gym. I do miss one day a week. It's on Sundays.
Yeah.
I go 6 days a week every year for the next 5 years. I'm going to do a competition. This would be no different than someone else saying, I have a passion for yoga and I want to go do yoga retreats. This is no different than someone that says, I love to run or swim and
do a marathon or a triathlon.
Right. And there's a difference between doing things to maintain health, and then there's those that are actually aiming at some achievement or something that will push them, something that will give them purpose behind what they're doing. I've noticed that when I am working out for the sake of being healthy, that's good. If I'm working out with an aim of a next level of achievement or a goal that I'm working towards, the happier is exponentially increased.
Really?
Yeah. And it's because everything about our nature wants to be challenged to improve. Think about this for a moment. I go to the gym. I've done distance running. I've done ultra marathons, like triathlons. Physically, I've done a lot of different things. I love to snowboard. I love to hike. I've done some amazing, beautiful hikes around the world. For me, though, I personally love bodybuilding. I love the idea that I can go to the gym and that I have a clipboard of what I did each week for the last 6 weeks on that day in rotation, and that I can challenge myself to either lift a little more weight or to pop in an extra rep or work in an extra set. And that literally 90% of the time, I will be stronger than the time before. And when you compound that over months and then years, you become incredibly strong. So I love the fact that my body is capable of that I find joy with it. And I do it now because I love growing myself. For the next 5 years, I'm going to hit stage 5 to 6 pounds heavier every year for the next 5 years. 5 years from now, I want to hit the stage at 250 pounds at my single digit body fat. I want to definitely take first place. I think I'll have been taking first place for years. But that's where my body would be sized, where I could go after a pro card should I want to. I'm not saying I do, because I like what I'm pursuing right now. But it means that I have a reason every day, 365 days times 5, with a goal to hit a particular outcome. And it motivates me. It gets me up in the morning and I'm doing something to grow in that area of my life.
So I guess what I'm getting at is there such thing as coasting? Like,
of course there is. I think you just described like people.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's our nature.
I mean, does it work? Because I mean,
coasting?
You've worked your butt off for years to look like you do now. How long would it take to lose it if you just stopped?
Jeez,
you just coasted for 30 days?
I want to throw up when I think about that. I don't want to talk about that. Like, I don't know.
Should we try it?
No. Dude, like the documentary that made me so ill was the dude that put McDonald's on trial and said, I'm going to eat it 3 meals a day and see in the doctor where I'm at 3 months from now. And like the doctor's like, oh yeah, you're going to die of heart attack and heart failure or diabetes. I can't tell which one's going to come first, but no, like you're getting clogged up in your arteries and you'll probably, like, it was just like, it was awful that he was willing to do that to make a point. So you asked this funny question. You're like, well, how long do you think it would take to lose it? The answer, every day you lose something. Why would you wait until you're 30 or 50 pounds overweight to say, see, now I lost it? I'm like, I feel the loss every day. If I miss the gym, I feel the loss because I'm so tuned in. I've got data that shows growth. I'm going to be in Alaska for 2 weeks. There's no gym in Alaska. I'm bringing my like little elastic bands. I'm going to do the best I can. It is not, it's a different kind of gym experience out there.
Yeah.
And like part of me recognizes, okay, like there's going to be some serious sacrifice, and how am I going to work around that? And how am I going to do meal prep without having a refrigerator out there? And you know, it's a massive disruption.
Yeah.
And I'm already pretty aware of what I'm going to lose by making that choice. And I can't tell you how excited I already am the moment I get back to be back on it. Because because every day, by the way, loss of anything should be felt at a rate that is daily. When you say, well, I'm unconscious enough that I can skip out for X number of months before I start feeling bad because of what I see in my bank account or in the mirror or how I feel, that's all that means is that you're highly unconscious. And it means that you are 100% trying to coast through life saying, well, I'm going to take the path of least resistance. I got news for you. That path never led to greatness, mission, or purpose. So that person's never going to know what a life like mine feels like. I literally hang out with a group of humans. Some of these people are just like superheroes to me. They're doing such phenomenal, extraordinary things. And it's very, very hard for people to understand what it's like to be them. They can't even fathom it. They can't comprehend it because they've never really challenged themselves. They're coasting.
So as I was thinking about this idea of use it or lose it,
yeah,
or, you know, a Rolling Stone gathers no moss, I thought, okay, what about money?
Yeah.
And we are seeing this on a global level right now, especially in America, though.
Yeah.
Where, Kris, can people stockpile money?
Well, I think we are taught to be an accumulation people. And that means that you're too stupid and uneducated to manage your own money. So instead, you put it in a 401k that you can't touch. You put it in an IRA that you can't, to accumulate.
But why? I mean, why can't you just hold it?
First of all, without financial education, we're consumers first. We're not investors. We're not trained to be investors. We're taught that investing is risky. So as consumers, without discipline, we might just play. I'm going to upgrade my car. I'm going to keep up with the Joneses. I'm going to upgrade my lifestyle. I'm going to eat a little better. I'm going to eat a little nicer. I'm going to experience something fancier. I'm going to have nicer threads. I'm going to take nicer vacations. I'm going to take more of them. You're going to live a really great life today. And then you're going to have the worst rude awakening of your life when the decades should have been doing something also else that you weren't. And by the way, for the record, I believe you can have it both ways. Like, I believe that if you're smart and disciplined, you can live the most enjoyable now life while also having the most amazing someday life.
So right now in America, we've got record amounts of people stockpiling money in savings accounts. It's because of the scare of COVID. People, you know, pulled their cards off the table. And
yeah,
said,
they stopped spending. They became more careful with their spending. They collected more checks from the government.
And said, I'm not going to spend on anything because I don't know what's coming.
I'm not commuting. I'm working from home, saving on gas.
So
don't need 2 vehicles, maybe
what's
one.
What's happening to all that money that's just sitting?
I think for the most part, it is largely being stockpiled. I think that savers save more. I think that consumers consume more. People are just magnifying what they would do anyway. You know, you look at the studies of what happens to a lottery winner within 5 years of winning the lottery, and it's all gone. Again. Usually depressed, deeply in debt, and they're in a really, really bad space, and it's because they didn't earn it. When you're given something you haven't earned, you can't appreciate it. You don't know the rules of keeping it, so you have to lose it, right?
So what do you do with your money?
So
how do you keep it moving?
I like to keep my money flowing by getting as many spins on it as I can. And I have a very different approach to a financial philosophy. I don't care so much about the strategy. I care more about diversification. I care about different asset classes, but I care about something people don't talk about, a diversification of ROI, which means I need a percentage of my money earning single digits. I need the majority of my money, however, earning double, triple, and quadruple digits.
So we're in the game of investing a lot, and it surprises me how few people out there know what ROI even stands for.
Okay, let me break it down.
Let's break it down.
It stands for return on investment. You could get lost in the strategy of day trading versus investing in the stock market, buying a company, buying real estate, commercial, or flipping a deal or whatever. You can buy a franchise. There's so many different verticals. I think I chalk it up. There are 25 different major money games that are out there. And you should learn them all. And then you should execute on the ones that feel most natural to you, the ones that call to you, find a mentor in that space. And that's how you're going to win at your highest level possible. When you look at all the different strategies, however, you have to then say, yeah, but strategy does not determine outcome. ROI determines outcome, and ROI is return on investment is what creates equalization where I can understand the benefits of my money sitting in the stock market versus the benefits of my money sitting in a 401k versus in a business. And so ROI basically just says, I put money out, how much is coming back? I like, though, to dive in on Rule of 72. Because Rule of 72 says, based on the ROI, how long is it going to take to double your money? When your money sits in the stock market, it takes 10 to 15 years to double. When your money sits in real estate earning 25% ROIs, it doubles every 3 years. When your money is sitting in today's real estate market, my strategy has my money doubling every year. That means I'm earning 100% a year on my money. If I have my money parked in a business that is producing 500% ROI, then I'm doubling my money every 60 days.
Are there businesses doing 500%?
Oh, of course. Yeah, like not a 500%, like 1,000 and 5,000 and 10,000. Owning, and this is the trap, right? Owning a business is where you can earn some of your best returns. Like let me give you an idea for this.
Okay.
Let me keep it really simple. Let's just say that that you wanted to mow lawns. And you started off by being the one that mowed lawns. And you're really good at going to your neighbors and going to the fancy neighborhoods and basically saying, I'm going to do more for you for less. So you start winning all of these accounts, and now you're getting paid, $50, $80, $100 a week for taking care of someone's lawn. And each account is worth, let's say $300 a month. And you get 10 of those, that's $3,000 a month. You get 100 of those, that's $30,000 a month. And you say, oh, well, I need to pay so-and-so to do this. I need to pay so-and-so to do this. And you get to the point where you're eventually out of the game. And you've got a team of people that are doing two things: expanding your number of accounts and providing fulfillment on services. You got someone doing quality control. And so your number of accounts is growing on a fairly regular basis. But you're no longer in the game. But you put up the original $20,000 to get all the equipment. But now you're making, let's say, $200,000 a year. Well, that's 1,000% return just that year alone on your original investment. And the truth is, you put in money and you put in time. But by the time you're out of it, you start calculating that arbitrage, and 1,000% return is now doubling your money every 30 days on average, 30, 37 days. So that's a simple example. I got businesses that do way more than that. And yet to society, owning a business is super undesirable. When I would also say, yeah, you're probably right. What you actually need to do, you only have two paths. You either become an expert investor or you become a business owner, which is not the same as being a business operator. Most people that are employees are afraid that if they start a business, it means they have to run the business. And they know that's going to be hard. They know that it's going to be risky. They know they're going to get paid less and last. That's a real risk that they actually face. So that they think that's a bad idea. Meanwhile, I acquired 25 companies this last month. I'm not running these companies. I'm strategically advising these companies from a chair position, providing my advisory board of insane experts on how do you exit a company, and chief marketing officers and direct marketing, experts and CEOs and CFOs and people that really know what they're doing, right? So there's a huge gap in the education for people to really understand. Are rich people out there? Are you saying they're making 1,000 or 10,000% ROI on their money? Yeah, it's not hard. You just have to be educated on something very different than what society has teed up for you.
Okay. And so this is kind of our lead out. We'll wrap up here. How does someone get educated on this stuff?
It's
not taught in high school.
You can't turn a loan to books. It's too slow. You won't find it in a college degree. Go talk to a PhD of business. They can't help you with this stuff. You have to find the actual people in business that are doing two things. One, who have crushed it, been there, done that. They have to have the been there, done that story many times over. And then number two, understand how they do it so that they can teach it to you. Sometimes we call them mentors. Other people call them gurus. Sometimes people call them coaches. I think that is the ultimate shortcut, but for me, it's the only cut. I won't do it any other way. If you want to do something you've never learned how to do before, you got to find a partner or someone that this is their jam, their expertise, and you want to learn from them.
How do you get in their airspace though? Kris, I think you snap your fingers and there's people that are just super successful to want to connect with you, but Joe Schmo on the street, he might not have that luxury.
Number one, you have to believe that they're out there. And then number two, it doesn't take a whole lot of initiative to actually figure this out. Like Dr. Google does 99% of the work for you. You have to know what you want. The way will present itself. If you know, okay, I want to learn about franchises and I want to like become an expert on that, then don't go look for a franchise. Look for someone that can teach you about franchises, that is doing franchises, that has had tremendous success with franchises. And that person could literally, they may have lived lifetimes in that space, and they're going to give you a shortcut in minutes and hours that would require lifetimes from you. What better shortcut on the planet is there? You should do that in your health. You should do that with relationships. You should do that with your finances. You should frankly do that in every area of life that is truly important to you. Or else you're going to look back at the end of your life and maybe wonder, did I do it wrong? Do I have regrets? Am I like Ivan Illich from Tolstoy's story, cautionary tale of a man who lived his wife's dreams instead of his own, and then on his deathbed just questioned everything and then died, leaving his music in him, robbing you and me, society at large, his talents? Life is short. We are like grass. That's what Jesus said. Plains of Judea and Jerusalem, not far outside from that Dead Sea.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I understand what it meant. The grass will grow green one time a year for 2 weeks, and then the heat of the sun and the lack of water will kill it. And when Jesus said men are like grass, what he said is, life's short, get it together, have some intentions, don't coast.